Hi, this is Nikki Nash. I'm the founder of Untangled Maths, and this is the first lesson of the Edexcel A level, year 1. So first chapter is on algebraic expressions, which is literally looking back over your GCSE information and taking it slightly further. So we're looking at index laws. So you need to know your basics and you need to know the index laws, and then I'll extend it slightly. So first things first, you have this rule. And that equals. Obviously the reasoning behind this, squared times 2 cubed, just means you've got 2 times 2, because that's what 2 squared is, and you're timesing it by 2 times 2 times 2. And as you can see, all together there we've got 2 times itself 5 times. So you just add them. Second rule is obviously then the opposite of that, dividing. So if we think about this first, if we have 2 cubed divided by 2 squared, it's the same as 2 cubed over or divided by 2 squared, which means you've got 2 times 2 times 2 over 2 times 2. Divide by 2 again, you're just left with 2. So what you do here is take away the powers. Third rule is if you have a power and then a power outside, and I'll change this, I'll change it to a number 3, no 4 I think. So you've got, that should be an A, 4 squared cubed means you've got 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared. So you have that 3 times itself. From the information we know from the very first one, that ends up as 4 to the 6. To get that with these two numbers, the shortcut is you multiply those two numbers. Okay, so in the bracket. And then this one, got to be careful with, it means you've got a to the n times b to the n. Okay, they're together, then multiplying, but each one of those is to the power there. So this is the basics of what we need to know, and we're going to take it on a little bit further today. So here we are then with our first example from the book, and it just wants to simplify this information. So from very simply, hopefully, x squared times x, so it's x times x, which is x squared, times x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see you end up with, here's your 5, here's your 2, so you just end up with x to the 7. So you have added those indices. This one, what you've got there is 2 times r times r times 3 times r times r times r, which actually gives you 2 times 3 is 6, and then you've got r to the 5. So you treat the numbers separately. 2 times 3 is 6, r squared times r cubed. From that previous rule, you add them. That gives you r5. b to the 7 over b to the 4. We know that's 7b's divided by 4, or we know we're just going to do 7 minus 4. And writing it out like that is absolutely fine. So we've got b to the cubed. D, the same thing. You can write it out as a fraction because it's got divide. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. Be careful on that. So do with the numbers what you would do with the numbers normally. And then you've got x times x times x times x times x on the top and x times x times x on the bottom. Or you know that given there's a division with those x's, it's 5, take away 3, which gives you 2x squared. C, D, E. Here we are with the next rule. Oh, that's a 2. And again, everything's still timesing here and all dividing, which is easier. Okay, a 3 to the 2, we know from our rule then is 2 times 3 is 6 times 2a squared. So like anything, you do the things in the bracket first. No other number, there's just a 1 in front of here, and it's a to the 8. Okay, because we're adding those, and f 3x squared all cubed divided by x to the 4. Do your 3x squared. Remember from that final rule, so you're going to have 3 cubed and x squared cubed. So That's going to be x to the 6. And we're dividing it by x to the 4. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. That's the number. And you're going to have x, 6 minus 4, x squared. Okay. So that's example 1. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. We'll have a go at example 2 in a minute. Right then, let's have a look at this one. So example 2, so it's just multiplying out the bracket. So minus 3x, 7x minus 4. I always like to write down the question first. Sometimes, believe it or not, it's writing out the question wrong is the issue. So you may have answered your question correctly, but not what they wanted to do. Then remember, it's your comb over, or whatever you want. So you do that one first, and then this one second. So for A, so you've got minus 3x times that, so you end up with minus 27. X times x is x squared. And then for the next one, you've got minus times a minus is a plus. 3 times 4 is 12x. Okay, so that's that one. B, you've got y squared on the outside. Okay. 3y squared times 3 is 3y squared. That's just 1, so 1 times 2 is 2. Y squared times y to the 3 is, you'd end up with your adding rule, so you've got 5 of them. Oopsie. That's going to annoy me. Okay, C. So this again, because the thing outside, like if it was 2, you would double everything that's there. We just double every term, or we times every term separately by this. So 3 4s are 12, x times x is x squared, 2 times 4 is 8, but it's still the minus, x times x squared is x cubed, plus 20, x to the 4. Nice and easy. Remember and be careful with the minus outside of a bracket, it changes the signs each time. So this one, 2 times 5 is 10, x times x is x squared, plus 6x, minus 10x, minus 15. Then you've got to simplify these bits because they're the same, just x's, so you're going to end up with minus 4x. Because this is the minus, the big term, that's plus. Remember there's a little plus here with numbers. Again, mathematicians too lazy, we don't put ones on here. We could put x to the 0 next to that 5 because x to the 0 is 0, which we will come across no doubt. But that's fine, and then minus 15. And that's example 2 done. Okay, we're going to have a look at example 3 now. So this is trying to use your algebra knowledge that you have with fractions and with indices to simplify this. Okay, so these are adding, so you can't do much with that. Remember, we need to be multiplying to be able to add those together, so we can do nothing with that. But what we can do is separate this back out into the 2 fractions it potentially was to start with. So you've got x to the 7 over x cubed plus x to the 4 over x cubed. Now this is sometimes been referred to, this is a v, so you're separating your v into 2 separate things. Up to you if you look at it, think about it like that. I really don't mind, but what you've got to remember is that you can't add. You add the indices when there's a multiplication there, which we've proved previously, so you need to be careful. What you can do now is, of course, look at this. So x to the 7 over x to the 3 is x to the 7 minus 3, because it's division, so you can do that one. And you're going to add on x to the 4 minus 3, which gives you x to the 4 plus x. And that's your completely simplified version there. Next one, we've got some numbers in now. So remember, we treat the numbers on their own and we do whatever it tells us to do, the function or the operation that we need to be doing. Again, this is your sliding v, so this is your v and we're going to separate them. So we've got 3x squared. So this is your common denominator. It would have been like this if you think going backwards. This would have been where you'd started. You'd made them into common denominators so you could add, subtract them. and you put it all over the same thing. So this time we're going to do it like this. So 3/2 is still 3/2. Can't simplify that any further. I don't like decimals, especially if they're tricky numbers. So 3/2 is 1.5, but it's much easier to put it as 3/2. X squared over x squared, well, they will cancel out. And if you're not happy with that, then of course it's x to the 2 minus 2, which is x to the 0. Anything to the power 0 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And you've got x cubed minus 2. So you've got 3/2 times 1. All of this, that's gone. And then 3x to the 1. But again, lazy mathematicians don't bother putting it in. And C, again, x to the 7 plus 15x cubed all over 5x squared. Gives me, again, same issue, sliding V, common denominator. So we're going to separate it out as the two separate terms it would have been prior to making a common denominator. And we're going to add 15x cubed over 5x squared. So 20, looking at just the numbers, 20 over 5 is 4. X to the 7 divided by x squared. Same base number, we can do it. So it's 7 minus 2, which is x to the 5. Plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. X cubed. So x to the 3 minus 2 is x to the 1. And that's that all done. Okay, hopefully that makes a bit sense too. Okay, that's all the examples from the Edexcel book. Exercise 1A is on page 3. Hopefully it should be reasonably straightforward. Please do put some comments below if you've got stuck on anything, and I can add an additional query or respond directly to you, hopefully. Thank you very much. That's the first one. The next video will be on the next element. Thank you. Bye-bye.